you hot, sweaty? He's like, I bet. I don't envy the outside people today.
Yeah. Pick it up pretty good when I got it in the air conditioning, you know.
I bet.
But your mom like having nothing to do.
Well, she's watching Zoe, so she's got something to do, and I think that actually helps, right?
Yeah.
And then the girls go there after school a lot and stuff like that, so she's still gonna go to Hayes, hang out with those grandkids, but I think it's been, a little hard, right? It wasn't exactly the way she wanted to go, so she probably, if she hadn't had the accident, she probably would have done another 5 years. So, but silver linings, right? She gets to watch the baby and she likes that a lot. So.
Yep, that's cool. About to go off here. Well, I should have, but I didn't. Okay, 6 o'clock. Welcome everyone to the City of Smith Center business meeting for August 26th. Where did the month go? Everyone had a chance to read our business meeting of August 12th. Chance to review the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to those August 12th minutes? Had a chance to review the receipts and vouchers for this month. If the receipts and vouchers are in order in the minutes of the August 12th meeting minutes are good, I need a motion to approve both, for all three. Second. Been moved and seconded to approve vouchers and receipts in August 12th meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. In our previous minutes, we had the meeting, we had the water line bid we tabled. Rick, do you have any updates on our water line bid?
Well, you have a updated bid from J-Corp. I think everything's corrected now.
I have that one here.
That's okay.
Oh,
Is this for? We adjusted we actually wheeled off the distance. And it's 1,885 feet or something like that, so.
and this rounded out is basically labor for the pipe.
What's that?
The 1,900 foot is labor.
We just can't get 1,885 foot.
I know, but yeah, but that's just the labor for that. Is this bid higher than the old bid?
Yeah.
Difference in the linear foot, but they did take off on the Third Street for $5,000 renovation.
I don't have the old bid here. I don't care.
What'd they take off?
Mobilization, set the setup for the
Moving equipment.
move equipment to the other projects we were talking about, like Ubi's. there was a $5,000 mobilization fee for setting up their equipment.
Wasn't that a $4,100 total bid with that in there?
Yeah, it was a $5,000 notification.
I know, but wasn't the bid of, the total bid 4,100 or 41,000?
If I look at the old ones.
Because this is gonna be 297, 298, 150, 250. Tracy, what do you think?
Still looking at it.
Okay. Rick? Any comments with this bid?
The only thing I know is this Smoky Hills, I don't know if they've ever got back with, made verbal contact with Ryan,
Not that I'm aware of as of this.
ever. And we just sent this is the first time I'm seeing this, so I'm going through it also.
Do you have the old bid with you?
I know,
Because these numbers look like they're higher than the old numbers.
well, if you remember right, all three of them had different numbers
Linear
of
feet.
Yeah.
connections.
Linear feet too was different.
Well, I still don't understand it because APAC's still at 805 linear feet. It's 1,900 feet, and they're still bidding 805. Last time it was 800. So I just don't know.
Is the long and short, when you guys questioning that too?
Yeah, the services.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
12 and 22.
And
How many are there services total?
What,
How many services total are there?
34, I believe?
So that number's right.
On the last bid from J Corp, the main section for K 204 was 261,650. And the section for the Third Street area was 51,350.
So this bit's cheaper then.
Okay, all right.
And the way I look at it, they're the only ones that have right footage.
Yeah. Because neither Smoky Hills is 1,700 and then
Yeah.
and this is only for this job down here. That's not. for the
Yeah,
other.
we told them we wanted bids for, well, let me look. Last
This
time I
is-
did that.
Well, they do have a 4-inch gate valve though in there.
That's because we're tying onto a 4-inch line at the east end of New York.
Oh, okay. I saw something.
On Smoky Hill, they don't say anything about Third Street or Jefferson or anything.
No, Hill City did not bid on that again, which we made that clear. We wanted it, if they could do it both at the same time, which J Corp did away with the mobilization fee at $5,000 to do that at the same time, so. Our recommendation's J Corp. We've talked to, Ryan called Quinter. They were out there doing 2 jobs. They said they'd had nothing but good stuff to say about them. They're coming back to do another job for them. They're the only ones that got everything right after the second time.
Yeah, that 51.
Can we can we get any grant money for that or no?
This is all right. Jill, I'd say, Jill, is this all, we have the funds in place to do this?
Yes, we have the ARPA money
ARPA, that's
for not all of this, but the majority of this, and then we have funds saved in water improvement for this.
because this is gonna be a couple grand short of 300.
Yep.
Are we gonna be, are you, How much ARPA money are we gonna have?
I believe, I don't know,
Yeah.
right off the top of my head, I think it's like 265,000,
Yeah.
265.
somewhere in that ballpark,
Okay. So in other words, it's a 20%.
Is that what meeting you're looking for?
yeah, give or take.
Council, we all in agreement on this?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to accept Jay Court for this
Is that
job.
what it is? Yeah.
Is there any more questions, council, before we vote it out?
Yeah,
I'll second it.
yeah.
Been moved and seconded to accept the J Corp bids of 251,900 on
Cause I remember, I got that thing in the mail
What is it?
about.
New York Street and 46,350 on 3rd Street or 4th Street, or 4th block of 3rd Street East.
This is just the city council meeting now.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carried. You want to do the procedure of notifying the unsuccessful bids as well?
And when do we think this will be completed?
Do they have a start time?
I did talk to Ryan about that, he was looking at the first of the year, was that right, Rick, do you know,
Here's another.
somewhere in that ballpark? That's also about the time frame that the state will be hopefully allowing us to let out for bids for the street work as well.
It has here temporary service.
They don't have a start.
No, they don't have a start date on it.
We probably need to find that out.
Well, what difference is it gonna make? We're not gonna change.
Well, because it has to be done before.
Oh, yeah.
And they do know that, that
I was
was
gonna
part of
say,
the
they know
whole.
that, don't they? Yeah.
Actually, we did send the.
Can Ryan
request-
check on that, Rick?
the Request for quote, we did.
And when is New York Street, when do we think that's gonna happen?
The state has pushed off the letting so that we can let for bids after the first of the year.
If we're good with that, we'll move on to new business. And anybody have anything to bring for new business? We got 5 minutes before we go into the hearing at 6:15. While we're waiting here, I talked with Mike Saff today and talked to him about the building that he's got going on down there. He's got some bricks falling out of the window. And I tried to get old Shandy Shellito today. He's out of town. But I was going to offer him our city's bucket truck to send somebody up there so we can get that corner of that window secured. Because it's got like a dozen bricks trying to fall out of there. Because it's a safety hazard big time. It's roped off right now if everybody's seen that. But I'd like for the economic development to look at that whole fascia, that fourplex building, and see if we can come up with a bid to have it fixed and tucked, because it's in the process of wanting to really deteriorate.
Sure. And that would be like where Staff's building is.
In Chris Rose,
Man shop.
Manna Shop, yeah. Yeah, and even, that's a whole fourplex building, that's, and just from the north half looks way worse than the south half.
Oh, it's like.
Who around here does
Traditions
brickwork
and Danny
anymore?
shop.
I talked to Billy Davis this afternoon, and this Richard Hahn that's doing a pool house, he will come and look at it.
Okay.
Shandy has a guy that'll do it too. So I'd like to find a couple of people to figure out what we can do to preserve and keep the moisture out of that. And probably tuck work.
Sure. Yeah. I would say if you see some guys, just go ahead and start, tell them to get us some bids.
Get us some bids, and then what we'll need to do is work with the building owners to come up with a
Planned and,
plan to do it.
because economic development, I mean, we obviously have grants and stuff, and we could individually grant, all the store owners there, building owners.
Yeah.
Some way, to at least help cover a decent amount.
If we know what the the whole facade's gonna cost us,
Right.
then we can go take a look at it and see what it is.
Who did the backside of the bank building?
That's what I was just trying to think of too. I'm not sure who we
I
hired.
can't remember who did that. Remember the
Yeah,
other side of Second Cup in the alley all
That's
fell
right,
in, and they just
whoever
redid
done
that.
that done a really nice job. I looked at that. I don't know.
I don't know who did that either.
I can't
We can
remember.
check with him and they would let us.
Yeah,
He worked with us really well on getting that taken care of. in a hurry.
he's done extremely well. So that's what my thoughts were, is to just be proactive on this, to get something done.
Yeah, because they could start going and all be in the sidewalk in the street.
Start like dominoes.
Oh, yeah. Because, when it comes to our historic downtown, that building says 1888 on it, all the way down, that's,
Especially with the rain we've been having, we got a hole right there. Now, right, with those bricks being gone, that water starts getting in behind that, and it won't be long, they'll be on the sidewalk.
everything will be on the sidewalk. And I looked at it today and I was kind of surprised that when you drive by it, you don't really notice it, but it's not.
Stop and pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's not in very good shape.
Does Mike own that building?
He owns that section, then Chris Rowe owns the next one. Then there's two other owners in the south half. So we're gonna be dealing with 4 owners.
I don't think that very south half, I don't think it's gonna take much, maybe right above the window line,
So,
looks like it could use a little work, but the upper parts of it look pretty good.
and that's, but I think it's all one building. I think I ought to get it all to even
Yep.
in one place. Anyway, we're looking at 6:15 for our neutral rate hearing. Do I need to go out of session or just open it up for hearing?
Okay.
All right, our 6:15 hearing on neutral revenue rate.
Yeah.
Crowd have any objections to what we're doing?
Please go to the very back of your actual budget.
Like the last 2 pages.
Yeah, so you'll see the notice of the hearing, and that will show you exactly where it is. Top of the resolution.
My apologies.
About time you apologize.
In comparison to the revenues that we're anticipating and budgeting, like in the general fund, for example, we are looking at an increase of about 16,000 from where we were last year in tax revenues. And when you look at the budget side, we're not bringing in as much money in many cases, many of the line items on the other taxes that are collected at the county level. In some cases, it could be the people moving away as far as motor vehicle goes or anything of that. Our motor vehicle tax is anticipated, as you can see, at about $8,000 less than what we are receiving this year. Recreational vehicle tax is coming in at about $250 less than what we are receiving this year. The vehicle, 15 vehicle tax, just slightly. Commercial vehicle tax is about $1,000 down from what we're collecting this year. You have to make it up somewhere. We've cut and cut and cut and tried to be as diligent as we can. And that's getting more difficult as the months go on. We've budgeted quite a bit in franchise tax. I don't anticipate us actually taking that in, but that helps alleviate us taxing the community more. Our hope is to try to bring in a little more revenues with some of our other line items that we can that aren't tax items. And so we do have that inflated, as you can see, from 154 to 198 to try to lessen the tax load on taxpayers. Same with licenses and permits, we're not going to bring in 5,500, but we're budgeting 5,500 so that we are not having to tax that much more. Same with reimbursements, which are wage reimbursements. Those that we've calculated on the expenditure side are not as high as that is.
Why do you think we're off on our franchise tax percentage swing?
We actually budgeted more to lessen the amount that we charge taxpayers for the coming year in order to not make that increase larger. We were able to get that down to around that $16,000 total for the general fund versus what could have easily been $30,000 to $50,000 without some of these line items in place. That gives us, in some cases though, that means we have to work a little harder to try to get grant funding, try to cut some corners in other places that we haven't maybe figured out yet. But by budgeting in the franchise tax, that amount's gonna be less or more coming in, even though we know the chance of that is quite nil. And that it takes away from that bottom line when it goes to the taxpayers. So that we can be as diligent as possible.
Is this something we need to vote on or just have,
Yes, we have to do the resolution.
is that resolution?
If there aren't comments from the,
Correct.
yes,
Okay. Council, do you have any questions on the resolution 2024 legislative?
That'd be stupid. Can somebody give me a layman's definition of revenue neutral?
It's something the state has come up with.
Okay.
Yeah, and
That's a
when
good
it
answer.
gets, when it gets past that, I really don't know why we do it.
what they're doing is that the year's valuations from the prior year that went into this current year that we're on versus the valuations that will be coming in, of course, establishes what our mill rate is going to be. Based on last year and current year, where they send that out in mills, we have to be able to use what they're saying is the revenue neutral rate. That number of mills on the valuation is where they want to see you at.
It's the mill
some
levy that would
cases-
generate the same amount
Same amount
of
of-
revenue from the year before.
Correct.
How many places could survive on the same amount of money from the year before?
We
Well, I
are,
bet you could
You
figure out how many of these hearings they're having, and the answer is most
Yeah.
most places.
there are some that don't. They make it, they don't have the
Out of
hearing.
635 incorporated cities, Kansas, I would say 630 of them have a problem.
And like I said, we're trying to eliminate the best we can. We know our taxes are high. We all know that. We are a high tax area. We do not have any natural resources that we can bank off of. Our city doesn't have electricity to sell. We have to purchase that as well, which ups our cost. It also ups those of the consumers in our community. We don't have very many ways to pull resources, and that's why we rely so hard on grants and fees and such to bring in some of this extra. Water and sewer are two profit accounts, profit accounts.
Definitely a place we can make.
And so in the budget side, like I said, it's a little different than what you would do at a business or at home. We budget with the hope of.
So the
So-
budget authority for expenditures, that's what we have in our account, is that what?
Wait, this has zero to do with what we have in our account,
Yeah,
which is what makes it that much more
Okay,
this
confusing.
means that we need to get
Well, I was just trying to figure out on this.
Based on costs, inflation, and what you see and average in our community on electricity parts.
Well, I was talking about this special highway, special parks and recreation, waste disposal. Why is there such a big difference?
Because they're not including actuals. It's a little difficult to explain.
Well, it's hard for me to figure it out, because I just don't understand that, I guess, but.
There's a very big difference between budget and cash. in this case, when it comes to government funds, we have to budget a certain amount based on any probable expenses that will come in the next year. If we do not budget high enough and we have the cash, we cannot spend it.
Has to be budgeted.
It has to be budgeted.
It has to.
And vice versa. If we've got the budget, does not mean we can spend the budget if we don't have the cash. So we have to do that checks and balance on a daily basis to make sure that we're good in each fund.
Clear as mud?
I got it.
All right.
I don't know about some of the, I know I'm really not very good at this stuff, but me neither. At the budget, I'm just going back 03 or 23, 24, I'm just looking at salaries. The budgeted amount dropped about 60,000 to 330,000. And now in 25, it's up over 415,000.
In some cases, we move some of those expenditures to the employee benefit fund to lessen the general fund and balance it out a little more. We also have moved where we used to have water and sewer employee benefits taken out of the general and the employee benefits fund. Those are now coming out of their individual funds. In some cases, we have to budget in both in case of insurance. So for example, health insurance, we will not know what that is until this fall. It's getting close. That will come up in November. It's a little late at that point to make changes on the budget unless it's extreme. There may be a case that, say in water, we budgeted, right, not an actual amount, but $20,000. That expenditure is 30. That's why we budget an extra 10 elsewhere. That extra 10 can also be spent though in other areas.
Theoretically, it's in the general fund.
Correct.
It's all coming out of the same pot.
It's to an extent. The employee benefit is separate. It's got its own item on the certificate. But we have the authority to spend out of there if we need to. We try not to because that is the taxed fund that is kind of the catch-all. I don't know how to say it any other way, other than that's where the majority of those extra expenses come, administrative costs come. Employee benefits is taxed as well. And that's a separate line item as you look on your certificate. It is on there as well. And that is your FICA, your CAPERS, your health insurance, your workers' comp insurance. And for example, our property and liability insurance. We saved some money, but we only paid a partial year. Now this coming year, we'll be paying for the full year, and they've already said that we're going to be somewhere within 19 to 25% raise from where we were. So you add that on to a $100,000 policy.
Okay, now I'm just looking at police department now. Explain to me what contractual is.
We have different areas that we do contractual or all services. Anything that is done, say for example, a vehicle is, we've got a patrol vehicle that goes in for repairs. The parts are commodities and the labor is contractual. Any kind of contract we have, say with the copier service, Next Tech, the tasers, those all run through contractual. Anything that's tangible, product, supplies is going to run through commodities. And then capital outlay is going to be a more permanent structures, vehicles, anything of that nature.
So are we, I'm just going to keep asking stupid questions.
They're not stupid questions. They're
If,
valid.
are we anticipating something then, or,
For police,
yeah,
we're anticipating having officers.
well, yeah, I know, I understand that. But we were anticipating having officers this year too.
Correct.
Current year's 158,000. 25 is 289,000.
Because we've only had one officer this year, and hopefully next year we have three.
That our
Yeah, but-
expenses
yeah,
So
but
so
we
this
were-
is, the 2024 isn't what was budgeted in 24. It's
It's
actual.
showing an actual.
That's the
spend.
actual
That's the
amount.
actual spend.
So, okay.
So then 2025, we budgeted for 3, so it's going to be a lot higher.
So that 158,000 is not budgeted amount,
No.
but 25, for the year 25, yeah, proposed budget, gotcha, okay.
But in that, across all of those individual departments is where we budget in that extra cost if needed. So say we are unfortunate and we do not have police officers assisting, or we only have one. If we have extra expenses on the street department due to extra issues that we know can happen at any given time, that money can be spent in the street as long as it's still in the general fund. We don't anticipate actually having $62,000 in costs in the swimming pool. However, chemicals, as you've seen in vouchers this year, have skyrocketed and doubled in cost, and in some cases, 2.5 times. But again, if we are fortunate and can cut some there, that maybe can offset in another area.
I guess I'm good to go with this.
Anybody want to make a comment on the revenue neutral rate? Drew? You want to make a comment? Is that why you're here?
I'm just listening. Looks good. That'd be high.
Yeah.
Jamie, you want to make a comment?
I don't know what, anything what you're doing there. I'm just here for something that me and Rick discussed.
Okay. Council, any more questions? If it's all clear as mud, we need to pass resolution 2024-6.
I'll make the motion to pass 2024-6.
I need a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded to pass resolution 2024-6. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Good job, guys. We haven't done
Now we go right into a budget hearing. We have our 2025 budget in front of us.
Well, I don't think so. I think you still have to have your budget hearing done.
Correct, yeah.
There, so now you just go to the front page.
Are there any surprises in here?
And then if there's another project.
No. We have budgeted again. We have encumbered funds for our street, for our water line, for all the projects. We have the lagoon, we have the transmission line, all of that encumbered in. We do get rid of for that every year because we don't pay the extra $8,000 for our system to show encumbrances, but we keep the spreadsheet in the office. You're welcome to look at it anytime. And it does help us all the way through the year, making sure that we maintain the correct cash and the correct budget.
We're gonna generate $1.1 million off the taxes.
Including recreation. So recreation is separate. They have 3 mills, and they're having their hearing tonight as well.
Okay.
The library
If you get
service,
this printing any smaller, then you have magnifying glass.
this is how it comes. I'm sorry, I can't change that. But, the library is something that is out of our control. That is something that is done by state statute and goes through that's what the auditors make sure that all complies with what they've got at the state level.
Did you come up with that, Brian? $3 grand.
Included in the general fund this year, different from prior, is the street or the sidewalk program. So that is in there as well.
Within our city limits, we have $11,310,000 in valuation. Geez, I remember when that was 8.
It wasn't all that long ago, really.
No, it wasn't. So 1 mil generates $11,000.
I think when I first started it, we were somewhere around $5,000. A mill was around
Yeah.
5,000.
And the county's total is 73 mil. So what are we, 15% roughly of the county's valuation? Is that what it is? Council, you have any questions? Members of our audience, do you have any questions about our 2025 budget?
No, sir.
Looks pretty standard to me.
Okay.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the 2025 budget as presented.
So moved.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2025 budget as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
I'm going to pass around the certificate of each of you would sign down here at the bottom. And if any of you have questions on the individual areas or funds at any time, call me and we'll set something up to go through.
Jill, I want to make a comment. Good job putting this together.
First, last name, one line.
One on mine, so you can squeeze it on.
I'll get her there.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Jill, good job of putting the 25 budget together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
I have the help of Mason Miller. They are wonderful. They answer every question I ask.
Before we go into our economic development and our hearings, do I need to sign this one?
No, just the council.
Just for you.
We're going to have, after our governing body reports, I'm going to ask for an executive session for non-elected personnel, 10 minutes, and I need guests, Tabitha, Rick, and Jill to stay with us. That'll be at the end of our governing body reports. And before we go into that, I'm going to make an appointment for Everett to take Dave Mesa's responsibilities of golf course and streets. You hear me or am I just rattling?
I heard you.
I'm gonna get you those contacts for those departments.
But yeah, you are just right.
They were a little.
You both.
Get that designation for Everett and streets and golf. And do go to their golf meetings if you can. And
Keith got a hold of me, they're having one the Sunday of Labor Day, but I'm gonna be out of town, so I told him I'd make the next one.
okay. Good enough. Economic development. Nick, you may have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick update here, or not really update. We had a couple of program applications this last month. One of them was turned back for not enough information in their application. The one that did come through and had everything with it, all the boxes checked on our side, was for Arwen/K-Dogs, is a commercial revitalization grant. They're doing about $40,000 or $50,000 worth of work up there at that building right now. I think they're going to be continuing to do a bunch more up there. But so they applied for one of our commercial revitalization grants for up to $5,000. Our board had passed that and recommended send it up to you guys for questions or approval. So this would be for build out that they're doing inside the facilities up there.
Oh, your documentation's in order? You
Correct.
bought it, and it qualifies for your program?
Yes, sir.
Questions, council? Don?
Nope.
Chris? Tracy?
No.
Brady? No. Eric? Nope. Need a motion to approve K-Dogs?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Just a real quick update, Heritage Townhomes, we're getting some roofing quotes still. I think we just got one back. So we've got basically all the local contractors have got in on the roofing bids. We've got to replace that from the hail damage. So not much there that comes out of that Heritage Townhomes budget. We got one spot open up there at Heritage Townhomes we're trying to rent for. So if anybody knows anybody looking for a spot, send them on to myself or Nancy Schaefer. She's the point person for Heritage Townhomes. Committee reports, we got our housing committee, and then we've got our workforce recruitment committee. So those are subcommittees of our board. The housing committee, they had sent up something to economic development regarding the land bank. And this is for that little blue house, 200 East Kansas Avenue, kind of cattywampus there from the funeral home. Our board is just recommending that the land bank take up this item. I think that's the protocol, to either tear down that house, or I think at one point in time there was some interest in buying it, but I think everybody's kind of softened on that. I don't know if there's still any applications that the land bank has on board, but we decided somebody just do something with that. Let's either tear it down and sell a lot, or give it to somebody and fix it up. So we just wanted to make that recommendation put that on the land bank agenda. Okay. Workforce recruitment. We had this is actually an update from back in our June meeting and just didn't make our minutes. So we amended the minutes there, but had a further discussion about one of the incentive programs that the workforce recruitment has is through the Dane G. Hansen Foundation. They pay incentives for people that are relocating here to work in our community. And the hospital has a new CFO that they've hired. And so we approved their relocation recruitment incentive for $9,000. And that's a program that comes out of money that's given to us by Dane G. Hansen. So it doesn't come out of our board manages the fund, but it comes out of there. So that would be our recommendation was to make that payment to the hospital. If the person doesn't, and I just thought this is important for you guys, if the person doesn't stay employed for 2 years, then the employer is responsible for paying that money back to us and effectively Dane Hansen. So it's a pretty good program, but just need you guys to vote on that. That's the approval of $9,000 recruitment incentive for the hospital CFO.
They did hire. Right?
They hired, my understanding, correct, yes. I think that person might have even started already or getting ready to.
We need to approve that. What do we have left in the funds?
There's quite a bit left. I think we started out with 30 grand they gave us, and I think we've used only twice. And one of them got paid back.
I think there was just two.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's low 60s.
Yeah, it's 60 is the total allotment that we have. They gave us the 30, and I think we've about burned through that, and we'd have to request the other 30.
Don, we have a motion on the table. Don, you have a motion, need a second. Second. Then move second, and all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay. But yeah, any of those funds, like I said, they come through Dane Hansen, they get through our bank account, but then our workforce recruitment board and economic development are the ones that, go through those for due diligence. Let's see here. Oh, last item I had is, we wanted to make recommendations to adding 2 new board members. Our board is a pretty low skeleton crew right now. So if one person's out, it's hard for us to have a meeting. We're just down to that few people. We can have up to 10 people on the economic development board. And our board decided to offer a position to Erica Kingsbury and Joel Brewer for coming on as board members. And we're still looking for more board members. That would actually take us, I think, to 8 total, or 7 total, excuse me. And we can have up to 10. So we would still love to fill that out. But the motion on the board, or the thing that we would need blessing for, is to add Erica and Joel to the board effective for the next meeting.
Got a motion to approve. Moved and seconded to appoint Erica Kingsbury and Joel Brewer to the Economic Development Board. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay. The last thing I was just going to kind of update you guys, we've had for the last year, Dana Peterson has been involved with our board as an advisor consultant. We have a contract with her. The contract is up for renewal, and at the last board meeting, she indicated that she wasn't going to be renewing that, and we were okay with that too. We've actually are kind of, I think I was telling you guys last month here, we're trying to try to separate some of these duties out, and then focus on hiring a director, for lack of a better term, that's just more of administrative and can start to bridge gaps and maybe take over for Chamber of Commerce and the Main Street program, and be a little bit like not necessarily a super high level person or position, but more of an administrative person that can handle all those duties. And then the high level stuff would be farmed out to either existing board members, or we would engage city council. So if we had a project we're trying to bring somebody into town or something with, we don't need a director. It's going to be difficult to find a director that we think is going to be a real rainmaker. That our key people from our board and your guys' council should just be involved in those kind of discussions. It doesn't need to be all weighted back on one person. And then it's easier to fill that more of an administrative role, because we still need people answering the phones and writing checks and, just doing day-to-day business stuff. And so does the chamber. And we've had continual discussions with them about sharing that employee. So I just wanted to kind of update you on what we were doing there. And that's about all the highlights anyways, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Do you have any applicants on that?
We've got 2 people that we're talking to. So we don't have, I'd say, a lot of inbound applications. One of them was a person that applied for the director job earlier this summer that we just didn't think was qualified for that level of what we were trying to do. But they're interested in what we're talking about now. And then this other person is just somebody totally, we cold called them, and we're trying to recruit them. They're employed someplace else right now. So, but if anybody's got any candidates for that job too, that would be, let me know, please. Anything else? Nope.
Anybody have anything for Nick? Don? Nope. Chris? Tracy?
Cool.
Brady?
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
See
Appreciate
you guys.
it. Good report. Good report. Jimmy, you are next on the list.
Got 2 applications.
Okay.
Non-certified officers. People applied for the job. I'm doing background right now, so hopefully I get something and get back to you. So
On a certification of these officers, didn't it cost quite a bit more money than what we have the last time we had someone certified?
the last person we sent to the academy would have been
Mickey?
Mickey, I think was the last one we sent. So, yeah, you pay their wages, their insurance, that,
And what does the academy cost these days?
I think the academy's free, you just pay for their
You just pay their
hotel room,
wages
you
and
pay
stuff.
their wages while they're there.
yeah.
But you don't pay.
So they're just
an
actually
additional
working
fee
while
for
they're
the
going to
academy.
school. And that's pretty much the thing. But
Yeah.
then if they would, a lot of places make them sign a contract.
Yeah.
A lot of people make them sign a contract so you don't lose somebody right after they
Well,
go
and
to the academy, but the thing is, if they quit you on, right after graduation, they go work for somebody else, if they're not working for you and then transfer, you can't recoup your funds, so.
You can?
You can't. I mean, if they just say, okay, I'm quitting, go a month and go work for somebody else, but I mean, if they take another job to try to make that other department, a lot of other departments will pay you for their time at the academy,
How
whatever,
long is that academy usually?
14 weeks.
Yeah, it's long. It's a lot.
Yeah. And they don't work weekends, so the only time you get to work them is like for the holiday in there. They can go ahead and work those like 5 days that they have off, they'll have in there because you're paying them for their services, but they don't want to get involved in any kind of court cases and that kind of stuff, so that's required. Used to be when I went to the academy, you come home. They changed it right before I went, that you come home on Friday night, go to work Friday night, work till Sunday noon, and then go back. So, I mean, they didn't have any time off, so the state changed that, so they have weekends off. So they're putting their 40-hour work weekend while they're at school.
Gotcha. Now you're just bringing us up,
What's that?
and now you're just bringing us up. I remember those days.
Yeah. So, but, so anyway, I'm gonna do the backgrounds and I'll get a hold of you guys. If I don't have, we need to set up an interview, I'll get a hold of Chris and maybe we can get something
Sounds good.
going, so.
Anybody have anything for Jamie, Tracy?
No.
Brady, Everett? No, Don? Chris?
Jamie, I just want to reiterate the importance of staying on top of this in a timely manner. It's not very often we have somebody, let alone two bodies applying. And it's pretty crucial that we are timely and go after them while they're hot. And I don't know, can we discuss any kind of a commitment if we choose to send them through? If we're going to not pay, well, I guess pay them while they're in training, is it unheard of to ask for a 2-year commitment or
No, I think that's what Jamie was talking about. I could ask other cities what they do, but typically the way you get reimbursed is from the other agency that they go and work for. Like if they come back, work for a month, and then they decide they want to go somewhere else, typically that agency will sort of like buy them from you, like pay that because they would have had to send them to training. But it gets I don't know specifically, it gets a little more complicated when you're trying to collect that kind of money from someone, right?
Right.
And I don't know exactly how that works, but I can ask other cities like what
Are they
what
local
conditions
guys?
they use.
Are they local guys?
One is, the other one's not, is planning on moving. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's not,
historically, we've lost some employees to other departments. And, but
Pretty much 100%.
yeah. But keep in mind, as a council, it took us 6 months, but we've restructured how a lot of our employees are paid. And I think we've got a better opportunity to get some of these people now. So please stay on top of this.
yeah, I am, that's what I'm saying.
Let's get this done.
I've been checking, and like I said, Tabitha knows, we've been checking into what's going on with them. And the other one I just got back, that was the one I told you I had out, and the guy just got back to me this Saturday night when I got back, so.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Anybody have anything for Jamie? We finished it. Rick, you may have the floor. You have anything to bring for the council?
You have the thing from Core and Main in your, do they have it, Jill?
No, he just asked me to give it to you.
So on the Greenberg residence over on Madison, Jamie come to us today and we're talking about getting water to
The
at
south
one time both of those houses, but they've done away with the north house now. They just want to get water to the south house. He's wanting us to run the line, us to do all the work to put the water line in. I've got a cost here, what that's gonna cost.
Do we have a tap on that or?
No, we gotta cut the street out, tap the line, run it up we'll go ahead and put a stop for the first house in case in the future, the north house, somebody buys it and wants to tie on. And it'd be done to run a water line there and not put a stop there for it.
I'm in the dark. We don't have water at these.
That's the one that
properties now?
comes from the south,
Yeah.
and it goes underneath, it's leaking underneath, Matt Seaman's driveway,
Oh,
so it's shut off.
I see. That's why the curb's always like.
Yeah, so, and that stops clear out on Matt's corner. Which.
So where
that's
would we
normal.
go in before this?
We don't, to bore what?
That isn't a bore.
No, that's us doing the work, that's us, that doesn't have any labor on it, I don't believe. That's the city crew trenching it in.
We'll have to trench through that
No, you'll have
We're
to
coming off of Kansas Street, that's coming off of Kansas Street.
from the north.
But Jamie's come to us because she's not gonna pay to have it done. My
Keith
concerns
Economic
are,
Development got any money for that?
well,
I just now talked to Nick about that. So we're gonna see if that would come up,
That should
and-
become in a revitalization.
Right. I just, like I said, it all happened today and I hadn't talked to anybody. I just talked to Nick. So see if we can't get money for that to pay for these
'Cause
stops.
that's just our side. Jamie says she doesn't want to spend any money on it. My concern is we don't do that. If we were gonna do it right, we would put the stop right after we tie in, and then that's their line, just like it was coming from the other side. The stop's at the corner. So if we go ahead and do that, that doesn't have any of the plumber's labor of tying it into the house,
And I think they'll probably take a new line from,
inside the house out to the.
Yeah, I'll tell you that, yeah. And that comes in on the south side, you're probably gonna come in on the north side.
Well, we
Well,
talked about that. It does come in on the south side.
Yeah, I know, I've been in there.
We're gonna run it right up to the sidewalk at the front door, so if you want to tunnel under the sidewalk and go there, I mean, that's where the meter's at and everything on the south side of the house, but.
Is their goal to sell this house, or are they?
there's so many people that need rentals,
Yeah.
and it's just sitting there, and I
It's not
talked.
that bad of a house.
No, it's not that bad. I talked to her last week about this situation, and she says, if we can get water there, she'll get it rented.
How long's it been without water?
Well,
2 years probably,
when did April Bennett move out?
3 years?
More than that, I think.
Sorry.
I was in it, I think, when April, it's probably been 6, 7 years.
Probably.
Maybe longer. I would like to see if economic do half, we'll do half, and then supply the labor. would be fine.
Then you still got the plumbing expense. Cause they're gonna have to trench it from our line into the house, tie onto it, probably whole new line.
I don't
We
think
tried to trace the old line today, but we couldn't do it.
I think it's plastic, that's why you couldn't do
And it-
I think it switches, it starts out at steel, and I think it goes to plastic.
So that
No,
could-
it's inside, it is steel, and
Yeah.
it's bent
Yeah,
to the
and I
meter.
think it's plastic out there.
No soft copper.
No,
And of course, it's way down deep, but I think it can be brought, a
yeah. it
hole
can
brought
come a
in.
long way. It's not that hard to get the water into the house. If you can get it up there close, it's really not that bad.
What we're trying to do is just get another house open in town for somebody to rent, that's all. I'm on the housing team, so that's what I've been working on.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think.
I would get with Nick and see, I bet you we can get some money.
Yeah, that's why I have to go to them and talk to them, I don't know, I'm off the board now there, so.
No, okay. I think city ought to do what our share would
Up to,
be, the stop.
Okay.
Up to or up to the, wherever we got to.
Up to the house, yeah,
Up to
well,
the
outside sidewalk,
where we
yeah.
said we were gonna stop. And that's where we put our shut off and the meter
Are
down.
you coming on the north side of that, or the west or east side of that house to the?
Meter's in the basement, right?
Yes,
So in other words,
We'll
you're
just
talking
run it up, it'll be like a curb stop price, except for to be between the sidewalk and the house. Because that's the easiest trench line we'll have. We can cut into it on Kansas. We can use our trencher and just shoot
Are you
right
coming
down.
on the west side
Put
of
a
that
2-inch line in.
house?
Huh?
You're coming on the west side of that house on the north side?
Yeah, right up on the east side of the sidewalk all the way.
West side of the house
Gotcha.
on the north side, right there on the east side of the sidewalk. Chipotle there.
That's right, that's correct.
That better be in a minute.
2-inch line.
Kind of like the red.
2-inch line with,
Right in trouble. I know, just make sure you get that right.
3/4 inch
I'm gonna have a picture.
feed lines to the houses.
Yeah, because if they won't ever, because I know that house to the north, if somebody ever gets out there, they got problems.
Well, somebody might tear it down and build there, and then you got a water tap there. You don't have to go dig it up and tap it.
that way you don't have to re-dig and put a new line in.
Right.
Council, questions, concerns?
I mean, is this above and beyond our typical responsibility as a city? It's different in what regard? We're going, I mean, typically, we're just.
Typically, we would go to Kansas Street, we'd dig the street up, we'd tap that line, we'd come in. If you think of it, there's a bunch of concrete there, that old trailer house used to sit there, and it was like a driveway, so we're gonna have to come a little farther than normal, 10, 12 foot off the back of the curb. We'd put a curb stop in there,
They
and
take
then
it
it'd be
from
the
there.
plumbers, then it'd be the plumbers and the landowners. So the city would have basically a tap and a curb stop and whatever, however much pipe. That's the way we do it.
And this is unique in what regard that if it were,
Cause
She doesn't have any money.
she says she won't pay any money to do it, according to Jamie, and they're trying to get another house back on the,
Okay, they do that, I mean, she doesn't, but who's gonna stand the profit if we make the house livable? Her, and she'll have no expense.
We don't know how much more expensive is it. I don't know how
Well,
long
if
it's
she
been
says
sitting there.
she don't wanna spend anything. And she's
We'll
got,
have to pay
you
a
can
plumber
look at
to
it this
do,
way, we'll get another
to get it in the house.
water minimum on the water bill, so our $3,000 be paid off in whatever that is, $56 times
Well,
whatever.
it'd be 30, 56 includes the sewer. Well, that'd be on there too. So we would be.
We don't even know if the sewer is any good, so, till we have that checked out.
1970, that would have been the student's responsibility because that water from the curb stop to the meter, the meter's in the basement, that is city's water.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
We're just replacing a line that's broken from another.
yeah, just like if somebody was building a house, you have to take it so far. But
I think
What
that's,
was your
I think.
comment?
I said 1970.
Oh,
Oh, I'm just saying
this
though.
is 2024. Trace.
But nobody, all the towns around us, they go to the
So
meter,
that's our water line.
even if the meter's in the house. I'm just saying, I mean,
this is kind of a one-off situation.
it's just like power company. They go to,
You can thank the Boltons for that.
I know you can, I know.
So
I
like,
think it's the way.
So this house
I think this is
doesn't
by
have
far the
water
best way
because
it
it's
should
shut
go.
off
Because it
because
has
of
a
a
leak.
leak to the south under Matt's.
Yes, yes. Yes.
I think it's important we don't open a can of worms here because nobody wants to pay for their own water line, right? I
No,
get that.
because our ordinance isn't that.
So I think it should be clear that this, if we agree
Well, the
with
meters
this,
in
it's
the
a unique
house, our
situation
ordinance
because it's.
is,
it
you
helps
take care
with
of
other
the
stuff,
curb stop.
right?
Right.
To the meter.
Yeah.
This curb stop.
Jill.
Outlet Street.
Are you going to economic development meeting this week? Is this something that they could get a grant for to, because there is money out there to try to rehabilitate homes?
Mhm.
And this may be a qualifying expense under economic development.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do that, yes.
And that
So really, the
may
city,
help
if,
with that.
if ED can pay for then it's just city labor and then we're fine.
Kind of eliminate that whole
Mhm.
issue.
That'd be the safer way to approach it, I think. We keep dancing around it, yeah, I'll go back to that.
So I think what you need to do is get a hold of a plumber, find out, get in there and see if you want to come in where it's at, if you want to go to the north side of the house, get an estimated cost, so you got a cost, because there's no sense getting a grant and not knowing what you might pay a plumber $1,500 to,
We also gotta find out if the sewer works. So,
that'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've rotted that sewer before, so I know there's tree roots in it.
well, that's what I said, we gotta,
Yeah,
just
there's a
started
lot of-
today.
It's just like buying a house that hasn't been lived in 10 years. You've always got problems.
Well, we just did that on our other rental where James lived. They had to replumb the whole house and rot the sewer, and she had to pay for it. And she just squawked, high heaven. Cause she
No,
had
it's
to,
her house.
yep,
what?
now she's got it rented out, but
You're on the air. So the consensus of the council is ED.
See what they say.
right.
I think they'll help, I mean, I think.
I do too. I think that's,
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
revitalization.
That's
I
one
think
of
they'll-
the main purposes.
Yeah.
Right.
We have
Yeah, if they get a total amount and they're, a little bit short, you would go help them. That's only my point of view, but you just open up a can of worms if you start putting in people's water rights.
That's right.
Yeah.
Chris is exactly right. Well, that's kind of like we were talking about in-home businesses.
If it opens up a rental, it's a win-win.
That's right.
Okay. Edie?
Yep, well, I'll get it.
Okay. Moving on, Jill, do you have anything to bring for the council?
Not much. We did get our
Thank you.
the 2 desktop scanners. Those are working great. Kim is on vacation right now. Melissa started today. She made it through Monday chaos and came back after lunch, so we're good.
It was a good day. Okay.
I have been in contact with Lockett, I believe it is, on the IT. They're working everything up. I just don't have everything yet.
Anybody, anything for Jill?
And Jill, how about insurance claims?
And they're in, K-Camp was here on Thursday, I believe, and looked at some of the buildings. I don't know that they're gonna pass to have the garage at Colfax re-roofed, the shelter at the park. He didn't say anything about the Scout House, and I haven't gotten a report from him yet.
Why? Or
He didn't think it looked damaged enough for
Oh, okay.
replacement.
what about at the ball field?
He didn't give me anything on that either. I haven't gotten a report yet. He came to look at the actual building. He's got all the pictures and information on everything else,
Because I'm pretty certain those guys are wanting to get stuff going down there.
I'm sure.
Did they look at the tennis courts?
He only looked at buildings. That's all he does is those buildings. And I haven't gotten anything back on any of the other properties at all, including the flags, the golf course. He did say that he forwarded the trees, information on the tree loss, because at the golf course we lost complete trees in some cases. I'm not sure that we're gonna get anything for that,
I'd be surprised if you do.
but I don't have a report yet.
Don, you had anything more?
No.
Chris? Tracy? Brady?
No.
Everett? No. Good report, Jill. Tabitha, do you have anything to bring for the council?
I don't think so. They approved the deed at the last meeting.
Yeah.
I got the deed from Deeds, and then I couldn't be at the meeting, so I sent it to Jill, and I think did you get that registered?
I have not done anything. with
Okay.
it.
So I think that, like, moving forward, that's something that I know the rec commission's gonna wanna know, okay, what do we do next, and when can we get in there, and when can we start? And I let them know that we have the deed. So,
Did we take that through escrow or anything? Nothing?
as far as I know, all we have is the deed. We've done nothing. It hasn't been filed. So,
No, we haven't done anything with it. Just the deed at the last meeting. That was all.
And why wouldn't we file it?
I haven't filed it. I can file it.
yeah, I
wasn't gonna
assume,
bother
You have
her.
to
She has a
file it,
lot
so
going
you-
on.
for sure. I was like, I assume that she got it, and I was in the middle of that jury trial, and she was just waiting. And
I just haven't. I
um,
haven't done anything with it.
yeah, I think we go ahead and file it. It was a gift, so there is no, But as far as then what you guys are gonna want to do, if you want, insuring it and all of that will be up to you guys and rec commission, how you're gonna proceed from there.
Well, we need to make a resolution or something to give it to or put it in the authority of the rec commission.
Yeah, the deed has some conditions in the deed that you
Yeah.
approved that says, what it can be used for, so.
And we put those in the minute.
Was it 10
Yeah.
years or something?
Yes,
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, we originally had negotiated, like, I had asked for no yearly condition, just like a preference in the language. And we kind of went back and forth, and then Richard just sent it to me and said they wanted 10 years. And I was like, well, I'll present it to the council and see what they want to do. You guys were fine with it, so.
Is there water in there, Rick, now?
Hmm.
No?
We don't, we haven't billed them for
I think the meter pit's probably there, I just.
Yeah,
guess it's
I know where the
shut
meter
off.
pit is, but I don't have any idea if
There
it
was
has
just two
water.
toilets in there, wasn't there?
Two toilets and a sink.
We don't probably want to forget if we're getting told that
Yeah,
what we do or don't have in there.
yeah, but I think that thing's been shut off for quite a while.
I would imagine.
It probably is, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably shut it up when they did all that work in there.
Yep.
Tore all the lanes out and
Yep.
they parked the cars and all the,
Lanes are all still in there.
Yeah, the lanes are there.
well, they tore the flooring out, so he parked the cars on the gutters, didn't he?
He just laid wood over the top of it.
Oh,
They can still tear the lanes out and do whatever they want with them.
Could they be relocated?
Sell that
Are they
wood.
usable? Can you,
they're
can
so
you say
outdated.
selling too?
Shuffleboard tables, ladders.
I don't know. I wish we had a bowling alley.
Okay, well, let's get the deed recorded
Talk to
on
the
that,
rec
that's all I can say.
We were laying in there for dawn.
Anybody have anything for Tabitha?
It's gotta have bumper cars.
Don, you have anything for Tabitha?
No, sir.
Chris?
No, I
Tracy, excellent job, Tabitha, excellent. Governing body reports. Everett, you want to go first? Do you have anything to bring forward, council?
I got my golf course and streets.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Brady, do you have anything to bring forward, council?
I don't.
You could tell us a little bit about your experience.
If Brady goes ahead and the November election is his, we'll probably be losing Brady on what,
December 31st.
December 31st. We'll lose a council member, but we'll probably gain an economic development board member. Thank you, Brady. You've been appointed already. Don, you have anything to bring before the council?
No.
Tracy?
Yeah, I got something for Dawn. Jordan Jones called me this evening, said the block was here for the pool.
It is.
Jordan Jones and I need to get with the block guy before he gets too carried away. We got a lot of swings.
Was there something else I saw had been delivered up there?
Yeah, they're delivering all the stone. They
Yeah.
started last week.
I knew the block was there.
But
Richard,
Richard said he's gonna, before he get the concrete guy, get you when he comes.
Yeah, okay, because Jordan called me and just wanted to know, he's seen the block there, he goes, I still don't know what I'm doing.
Is he back up to normal, Jordan?
He's just doing electrical now.
Yeah, I know, but
I
you know,
think
he,
he's on light duty or something.
yeah, he fell,
Oh, I didn't know that.
screwed both elbows up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's up on a pole.
Oh,
He didn't have to have surgery. They thought he was gonna have to have surgery.
I didn't know that. Well, he just called me and asked me.
Yeah, before
That
Richard
block.
Hahn starts, we'll.
Because I know we're gonna do some revamping on that. Okay, that's all I require.
Yeah, and I thought there's a possibility, maybe Thursday.
Just give me a heads up.
And let me know.
Christie, anything?
I don't know.
Okay. I would like to have a 10-minute executive session for non-elected personnel for 10 minutes with Tabitha, Rick, and Jill as our guests. Need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second, been moved and seconded to go into executive session
One, two.
Thank you.
for 10.
What'd you do?
And now let's get started for 10.
I need to go get my keys. I've never been in an executive session.
You
You
have
better hang on. You're-
Okay.
All right, we
Well
have,
done.
Hold on,
Thanks.
hold on, hold on. You have to take blood. No, he's gonna lose it.